Now, I'm joined by our sports editor, Derrick Lynch, to reflect on the weekend sport. Derrick, good morning to you.
Morning, Alan.
We'll start with events across the road from us here at Zimmer by Met Park, Keysog, where Clare took on Kerry in the Munster Senior Football Semi-Final. Put up a good fight. I mean, look, in the end, Kerry won 2-19 to 1-14, and I was just mentioned to you off air, if only the Cliffords had somehow come up with an injury or something before the game, because between Podgy and David they scored 2-10 of Kerry's total of 2-19. But let's reflect on the Clare performance and how you felt that was, despite defeat.
Yeah, I suppose it's fitting that you mentioned the Clifford brothers, because both goals were of a very, very soft nature. I think the Clare defence would be very unhappy with how they conceded it, particularly I suppose the communication between Tristan O'Callaghan and the defender in front of him. When you see a goalkeeper and defender going for the same ball as a forward, your eyes light up because there's a chance. So the first one was soft, the second one probably even more so, the David Clifford one that dropped in. But a big talking point coming out of it was the amount of times that Ike Maguire was illegally obstructed trying to track a David Clifford move, and it happened in particular in that second goal where he had covered Clifford's run. He was coming off in the loop as he does onto that left peg,
and he'd been having a good game shadowing him, hadn't he?
Yeah, but twice, if not three times, he was actually blocked in trying to defend him. So it has raised that whole question. It even made the Sunday game last night about screening and what's legal and what isn't legal. So I think Clare have every right to be quite annoyed about that. That being said, though, had a really good first half performance. I thought, Alan Sweeney popping up with a goal. It was very obvious. I actually watched the game from downstairs in front of the Clare subs, and it was clearly something they had worked on. They were working on, while going laterally with the ball, they were actually populating the square with 3 or 4 players, and they'd obviously targeted high balls in there to maybe try and cause a little bit of consternation, because the subs kept mentioning that when they were inside, so it was just interesting to get that insight. But Alan Sweeney pops up with the goal, and Clare are doing okay at half time. You felt the loss of Owen Cleary just before the break, the injury was huge, because he was having a good impact on the game. Hadn't scored, but he was carrying a lot of ball. Aaron Griffin, he was excellent as well, and I thought Cillian Rowan did brilliant at centre back in just being that anchor in the middle of the defence. So it was fantastic to have him back. Kerry probably never really looked like losing the game, to be fair, but there's no doubt Clare brought it back to 5, and I just actually I wrote it down at the time. It was 15 points to 1-7 when Kerry scored the first goal. Now I won't read out the descriptor of the goal that I wrote at the time. It came with a bit of passion, but 18 minutes passed before Kerry got their second goal to make it 2-18 to 1-12. So Clare had actually outscored Kerry 5-3 in that middle quarter of the second half. So they were going well until that second goal went in. So it's if, ands, buts and maybes, I know, but I think there was a lot to take from it. But I suppose Paul Madden being the man he is, and we spoke to Killian Brennan after as well, they weren't putting any shining light on the brave performance. And 2-19 to 1-14, it's still fair clipping for Clare to get 1-14 against the All-Ireland champions. And from a Kerry point of view, I know they were missing a couple of players, but they still had the likes of Thomas Sullivan. They brought in Killian Spillane, they brought good lads off the bench. Gavin White came in for a finish, so that was a good Kerry team. They got a good tester. But I think for Clare now, obviously thoughts are turning to the Tailteann Cup draw. That's supposed to get underway in about an hour's time or thereabouts, so we'll know who we'll get. And it'll be a mini Division 3 and 4, I guess, in a lot of ways. So it's something Clare can go and target. And at the end of the day, it's a route back to Sam Maguire. It's a route to Croke Park for a final, and it's certainly something I think Clare will go after.
Exactly, it's the GAA's version of the Europa League. You get a good day out if you get to the final. We've seen teams have won the Tailteann Cup, and it's been a fantastic occasion. An opportunity to win silverware, and you get a route back into the main competition.
Just thinking there, you don't have to go to Kazakhstan, but you might have to go to Leeds. you might have to go to Leeds or something similar. So we'll see.
Which is further away.
We're going to get Leeds from now after that, aren't we?
Oh, totally.
But, I think Clare, they'll carry a lot of positivity into it. And do you know what? The Division 3 league form hasn't worked out too badly. Down beat Donegal, and Westmeath overcame Meath as well. So there was good teams in there. So I think there's a lot for the lads to take from that.
And down beating Donegal with something to spare as well, given the disparity in terms of divisions between them. Right, we'll watch with interest the draw later on. Clare needed to beat Waterford in the Munster Minor Hurling Championship. They did so 120 to 212, but as you told us on Friday, needed other results to go the way. So where are they at the moment?
Yeah, it's still kind of at that really, but what it does mean is that they go next Friday to Park Urin with a chance, and that's all they wanted, because if they had lost to Waterford, well, things were kind of gone, I think, at that stage. So they have a fighting chance now. There's something to aim for, something to scrap for, and let other results fall as they will on the night. So savage character from the young lads, and I think I mentioned it here on Friday, Ger had shaken up the team a little bit, and I think those changes really told. They put on a brilliant display. Daly at centre back was brilliant. O'Donnell up front was really good as well. So lots and lots of positives for them to carry forward.
Okay, brilliant stuff. Derek, thank you very much. Make sure you check out Sideline View Review this evening. Our Derek will be with you.